cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Bases Loaded on this Friday. It is Friday, April the 3rd, 2026, the first Friday in April, a big Friday. It is 15-game card, East Coast openers. Gentlemen, you guys are going to the stadium, crack a beer, you're hanging out, whatever you're doing. I am fired up. Mike, small card yesterday. We did not profit yesterday. We didn't really have a lot of access yesterday. This card speaks to one word for me, access. How you feeling this morning?
Man, win, lose, or draw, we are still going to ball the following day. You guys can count on us to do that here with Bases Loaded. And look, big card. So, we're back at it. We're going to have sides, totals, trends, best bets. We're going to talk parlays. We're going to talk props. I got a little player prop parlay that's cashing out at about a plus 165 for us today, Shark. I'm looking forward to breaking down the card with you as always, man. Good Friday. Good luck today, everybody.
Is it Good Friday?
I think so, isn't it?
Wow, I've gotten away from religion. My religion is baseball. I'm focused on this. We got huge openers. We got teams traveling across country, and we will not wait around. Guys, if you're in the chat, drop your comments, drop your plays. We want to engage with you guys on this Friday afternoon. We know you guys are at work, you're driving around, doing whatever you're doing. We're going to bring you guys the highest level of conversation daily on this show. As Mike said, win, lose, or draw. It's baseball. It's 162. You're going to take some losses. Bounce back is real. Let's dominate today, and let's get into the card. First game on the card, Washington Nationals Park in D.C., 105. Dodgers traveling cross country here. Emmett Sheehan at Miles Mikolas. Mike and I were debating the pronunciation of that word before the show. If anybody in the chat is Greek, I think he's Greek, tell us how to pronounce it. We will discuss the game. Interesting spot here. Mikolas has bounced around baseball, been on 4 or 5 teams in the last 5 years. Cardinals for a while, now with the Nats. Nats' first home game, catching the Dodgers, the champs, traveling across country. How much psychology is there in that? I'm not entirely sure. But I do think traveling to East Coast time off a cluster of home games to the Dodgers could be a bit of a trap early. Emmett Sheehan, actually an East Coast product, went to high school in Connecticut, Salisbury School, a nice prep school up there. He will be prepared maybe for this spot. I could see the Nats in the first 5. Mike, any thoughts?
We look at this game, boys and girls. We got big numbers coming in. 90% of the bets, 91% of the cash. Still looking to take them Dodgers at minus 278. I don't disagree with that spot here, but look at the totals where I want to get fixated on here. 81% of the bets, 89% of the cash have come in on the over. Okay. It opened at 9.5. It's sitting at 9.5. The number, nada movemento here. And I'm not even sure if that's a real word, but I threw it out there and look, here's the thing for me. This Dodgers lineup is loaded. Now, yesterday we talked a little bit about it, and we missed the mark, frankly. Teams cross-country travel, opening up a series. Man, them games went way the heck on over, and I do feel the same about this game. What concerns me, why isn't the line moving? It's at 9.5. It's staying at 9.5. So, yeah, the public's been feasting. Does not change the fact that I'm looking at this game and I'm saying, you know what? Let me hone in just on the Dodgers side of things here. They're struggling, but they got some bats, and they got some bats that, frankly, I think they have the advantage here. The lefty-righty matchups here, home road splits. These guys are professionals, but Ohtani, Tucker, Betts, Freeman, Willie Smith, Big Willie style, Muncy, Hernandez. I mean, look, go down the list. These guys are fired up. I think they're in a great opportunity to go out there, put some runs on the board. And I just don't want to have to trust what's going on the, the national side of things here. The Nationals have put some runs up in their own right, Shark. But, man, we got 917 OPS or better against Mikolas. Give me the Dodgers team total over the number.
Yeah, and, obviously, as we say, baseball is such a unique sport versus other sports. These guys are traveling around the country. They play so many games. Obviously, the psychology is very unique. I don't have anything big time in this one. Just a general thought of the Dodgers coming cross country early. This will be 10 a.m. roughly on their body time. If it matters, we will see how it goes down. Not a big play for me on this one. And we'll keep it moving. As I said, 15 games on the card. We got a rain out, so we actually had 14. But originally, this was supposed to be only 14-game card. But next game on the card, 110 in Detroit. Cardinals, Tigers. Tigers home opener. Cardinals' first road game, so first situation for both teams in this spot. Framber Valdez came over here from Houston. First home start against Michael McGreevy, 25-year-old right-hander. Ultimately, tough game for me. Mike, you bought correctly on the Tigers before. What do you think about this one?
Well, I bought on Framber Valdez before. I thought that opening start with the new squad out there. But look, he's a journeyman. Now he's journeyman to the effect that he's just been in the league a long time. So I think there's tape out in this guy here. Do I want to get involved? We saw the Tigers. Well, they kind of rolled out some duds out there, Arizona wise. Look at this line opened up 74% of the bets, 68% of the cash. Big factor there is that there is some bigger money coming in on the Cardinals here. Small movement. It went from minus 172 to minus 174. The total's gone up a half a run. Are there going to be runs in these spots here? Here's what I'll say to this. This year, we've seen incredible success from home team openers. First home game of the season. They're 41-11, but have won 16 straight. I'm not going to take the Tigers at this number, though. I had to look at this Cardinal side of things here. I just think this is one of those tricky little spots. You got the Tigers 0-9 in the favorite role. If they came off a pretty solid game, allowing less than 4 runs, do I believe in the Cardinals? Not over the long stretch, Shark, but curious what your thoughts are here. Do we see a situation where Framber Valdez comes back and fires again?
Yeah, truthfully, when I was looking at this, these early games are just very overpriced favorites, if we're being honest. And, the beauty of baseball is we get a huge sample, so we don't have to target every single game. But we do discuss every single game. MLB bases loaded. This game is just an overpriced one-run game. The large-scale projection here does lean towards Detroit to win this game but not cover the run line. The run line, yet again, is right around plus odds, like plus 110. So what the books are telling you from a large-scale projection is win, don't take the run line. And they kind of price you out of the market in these games very often. Because if you take the dog at plus 149, it's very speculative. They're not really projected to win the game. But again, you have to risk almost 2-1 to win on the favorite. I really don't like this game. I don't have anything on it. We'll keep it moving. Next game on the card, much better game here. 1:30 in the Boogie Down Bronx. The Yankees open up this afternoon. Will Warren against Yuri Perez, 1:35. I can guarantee you right now, 12:17 p.m. Eastern, stands, billies, hip-hop, rock, they are going down in New York. I wish I was there. I used to go to opening day very often. I'm in Florida now. I am there in spirit. Will Warren opening up the home calendar for the Yankees. A surprise, to say the least. Obviously, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, all on the injured list. The Yankees running a 4-person rotation against Yuri Perez. Yuri Perez actually faced off against the Yankees at home in Miami last year. Aced the Yankees lineup. 0 earned runs against Cam Schlittler. A lot of moving parts in this game. Yankees projected to win. I could see a low-scoring game. Mike, any thoughts?
So I told you the other day regarding this, New York, Miami Marlins situation, bat problems. Who's batting for these boys, and who's going to put the runs on consistently? We'll see what happens midseason. They always try to find a little groove and a little speed slot, if you will. But the other question I have, Shark, is how many games does Will Warren pitch? I mean, once these guys get healthy in that Yankees pitching staff, this guy's out. So that suggests to me he ain't a 1. And I like 1 versus 1s. He ain't a 2. He ain't a 3. He's not even a 4. He won't even be a 5. He'll be pitching minor league baseball probably by the month of June. So that does not make me want to go in there and get in on some New York Yankees with this price tag here. But I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy enough to go the other direction. Here's what I was looking at, though. The Marlins are a perfect 16-0 when they roll to the under as a road dog. They left more than 4 runners on base, and they had over 26% of their base runners scoring in the favorite role out there. They were the favorite. They should have gotten the job done out there. They did. Good on them, but look, I just don't know how this thing progresses. I like the under 8 as a whole. I don't know. What do you think about this conversation with Willie Warren? You think he's going to go deep? I mean, he started off with that 2.08. I'm kind of leaning towards this Miami Marlins team total under. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, last year he was projected to be a minor league pitcher, if we're being honest. It's just the injuries to the Yankees rotation. Obviously, most notably Garrett Cole and now Rodon. But he's not going to be in the rotation going into June. He'll be in the bullpen. He'll be a long reliever. So you ask yourself what's going on here. I think this handicap is much more centered on peripheral aspects outside of the starting pitching for the Yankees. I think this Yankees lineup is just elite. I think they're going to the World Series. I'll say it every day until they win the World Series. It's going to be a theme of the show. I got to get a background or something. But you look at this. What's that?
I said, or a buy hat.
I was wearing it yesterday.
I know you were. That's why I'm saying it.
Spirit leading into today. The only reason I'm not giving you guys this officially is because it's just another overpriced. Looking at minus 175 in the market here. I think the Yankees win the game. And Yuri Perez, as I mentioned, did pitch against the Yankees at home at Lone Depot Park early August last year, Saturday afternoon, August the 2nd. I was actually at the game. I watched a very fast 2-hour game. There was like 5 hits in the game. Schlittler and Perez just acing both sides. 2 solo home runs for the Marlins, Agustin Ramirez. But it was a very unenthusing game. I felt like I barely arrived at the stadium before the game was over. I think you're going to see a bit of a different game here. I think it's going to be a little more slow. And truthfully, I'm saying under. We got our guy Razor in the house saying under as well. We've seen this with Will Warren. Will Warren does give up runs. He's not exactly a lockdown ace pitcher. And the Marlins lineup inconsistent. Perez late season last year, something I don't like to back him. I'm looking at it right now. Couple sketchy starts on the road. Most notably, the only time he pitched in New York late season last year after the All-Star break at the Mets, of course, a divisional opponent for the Marlins, he didn't make it out of the first inning. 2/3 of an inning, 2 home runs against, 5 earned runs, 19-9 Mets. And the moral of the story here of Perez is he's only 22 years old. He is an absolute flamethrower. He has Hall of Fame quality pitches. He's in his 4th major league season, and he's only 19 years old. So he's just very young. And with young players, you get inconsistency. I think the Yankees win this game. Perez ultimately could throw a no-hitter, or he could not make it out of the first inning. It is that unpredictable. We have better predictability later in the card. Mike, did you give an official on this one?
I'm going to lean to that Miami team total under 3.5. Nothing official for me just yet, but this might be a great spot for a -1.
Yeah, again, we're going through every game. Not every game is a banger. The energy is high in the Bronx. I think the Yankees win, but official plays in this one are difficult to find. Next game on the card, we're going to Boston. I said it about the Bronx. Boston, I bet you guys are live as hell right now, too. Sox home opener. Sonny Gray on the bump. First start with the Red Sox. Not exactly where the Red Sox thought they would be coming home for the home opener on this Friday. 1-5 on an elongated losing streak. Have lost 4 in a row. Looked awful in the process, getting swept in Houston. Really just lackluster, uneventful baseball. At some point, the Red Sox are going to win games. I said it to Mike off the record actually 2 days ago. I think they're going to be a home team. We have not seen them play at home. Just my feel. I think this is a home team. The line indicates it. I would look towards the Red Sox in this game to shift the energy in their direction. Mike, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think I said it the other day. I'll go on record and say it. I think this fucking Red Sox team is too stupid to realize how bad they are at this point in the season. And I'll come back to it. We'll circle back. I'll own it. Look, last year they blamed it on that flamethrower and their first base arguments out there. Look, bad leadership produces bad results, and I think that's what we have with this Boston Red Sox team. Way too early overreaction, I'm sure. But look, you trade them out, you come back in, you're not putting up runs. Your pitchers aren't really playing that stellar. You were in some competitive matchups early, but then, bad coaching, bad managing leaves these guys in too long. It's a bad team, man. Not only are they a bad team, but they roll up 0-10 in the home spot. They're not supposed to blow a team out, right? So the line's less than a -275. And look, struck out less than 9 times off a 3 or more game road trip. So the return home, it's one of those little anomalies where they just suck. And the Padres, hey, they're going to be feeling pretty good, man. They came out there yesterday. They got a nice little win. Travel spot, dicey and difficult. They do have the rest disadvantage, but 52% of the bets are coming in on the Red Sox. 60% of the cash. The money's coming in right now. This line is moving, but it's moving against that cash flow. It's -125, now -124. I'm going to take the Padres. Fuck the Red Sox. They screwed me twice already.
Yeah, there's an interesting dynamic here from the standpoint of Michael King. Obviously, he used to pitch for the Yankees. So you do have some familiarity here pitching at Fenway Park. He did face off against the Red Sox last year, actually at home in San Diego, a Saturday afternoon game, August 9th. Padres did win the game, 5-4 in extra innings. He didn't make it out of the second inning. He got hurt. So we're not exactly data abundant here in recent history, King versus this Red Sox lineup. Of course, some changes in the offseason to both teams and lineups, but it's a tough read for me. Sonny Gray has not pitched as a home pitcher for the Red Sox. So there's your open season for the unknown. And again, Michael King out of division, out of his time range here. Again, I'm talking about Yuri Perez getting rocked out of in this environment, out of his range. The last time Michael King last year traveled cross country for an East Coast start, he got rocked at the Mets. What is it with the Mets rocking these teams? It was Tuesday night, September the 16th. The Mets lit him up for 10 hits and 8 earned runs in only 3 innings. And I do think there is something to be said about this. Traveling cross country for a West Coast team on an early start time, this is yet another morning start time, body time for these teams. I could honestly see the Red Sox coming out here and jumping on Michael King. Unofficially, I think the Red Sox first 5 is a very good look in this game, and we'll keep it moving. Next game on the card, aforementioned rain out from yesterday, being played today, 2:10 in the south side of Chicago. White Sox home opener against the Blue Jays. Dylan Cease on the bump against a pitcher I do not recognize off the top of my head. Grant Taylor, Alabama product, 23 years old. I believe that's a rescheduled start. Mike, they were supposed to play yesterday. I'm not sure what's going on in Chicago. We got Chicago Joe in the house. Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, bro? Is the weather that bad? I don't know. Mike, what do you think of this game?
Oh, boys, listen, we talked about this. Fundamental rule number 1, pitching variance, pitching fuckery in the lineup. We got to stay away or you got to go the other way. In this case here, the Blue Jays, 92% of the bets, 96% of the cash love the Jays. We talked about the Sox just not having any – the Sox, they have no firepower out there. Total at 7.5, though, does suggest a little bit of a shove job here. I was impressed. I was excited. I'm a Toronto guy. I was excited to see him bring in Dylan Cease in the offseason. I thought, hey, here's a fun little play to help complement that rotation. And they do find some of these spark plugs that have a couple of good games in them. And you saw that kind of coming out there with the sub-2 ERA right off the gate. Yeah, I had Burke in there. Obviously, now with the reschedule here, we're looking at Taylor. So tricky spot, man. Listen, White Sox, I just don't believe they got the firepower. I like this spot with the Toronto Blue Jays run line team here. 1-5. We see this White Sox team come in here and, you're just not scoring runs. And you're coming out there against a flamethrower. So I think this is a bad spot for the White Sox. Problem for me, just full disclosure, this team came off a shutout loss. And you could almost blindly back teams off shutout losses last year to come back and win. I just don't think you're going to do it against Dylan Cease. This is a really nice spot. Really good opportunity, really good metrics out there. Probably one of the 2 players to look out for is Benintendi, but that guy's always kind of trouble. He's always kind of lingering around out there. He's in the 3 hole. He's 15 at-bats, 5 hits on Dylan Cease. But outside of that, everybody else is sub-2. I mean, I'm not worried about this White Sox team here. This is fade the Sox, 349 and 165. And it's a really simple formula. Teams favored to win against the White Sox, and they do. So give me the run line on this Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. This White Sox team is just absolutely abysmal. Just a question for you, Mike. Just in terms of the psychology here, I'm trying to figure it out myself. How much do we value Dylan Cease coming back to his original team here and pitching in the south side of Chicago?
It's a good question. That's a fair question. I just kind of feel like it's almost like the dude that got lost at sea and they find him in a boat, right? You put him back in the boat and then he goes to the beach. Do you think he's really excited to be back there and show that water what's up? Or is he like, Jesus, I'm just happy not to be in the water anymore? I mean, that's where I kind of feel like when it comes to some of these guys getting traded and moving out of town here. And not to mention the Sox weren't his last team, right? He had a spot in between there. So I think he did anyways, right? He played for somebody else. Anyways.
San Diego.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's happy to be the fuck out of there. And, maybe he goes back there and shows them what's up, but there's been so many moving parts in the Sox team as well that probably doesn't recognize too many of the names in that squad. So played great. I mean, look, 1 run, 12 strikeouts, 5 in the 3rd innings against an Athletics team out there. I think he does the same thing here. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to take a look at Dylan Cease to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. And I think you're bringing up a lot of great points there psychologically. It could go, he goes back there, he wants to prove a point. But as you said, he's far enough removed from the situation where it's not really like they screwed me last year. I want to prove a point here. If anything, in my opinion, I think this might be a funky spot for him because the White Sox were terrible when he pitched there. If anything, they kind of brought him down. I believe he was a top 10 pick for them going back like 7 or 8 years. And they kind of let him down. So it's almost like you go back to a bad relationship. You're in the area. You're not feeling like super good vibes about it. So I don't know. I think the Blue Jays will get the dub here 100%. I would be a little skeptical of the under, however, because I could see Cease actually struggle here. And I think that the White Sox bullpen here throughout the game is going to be an absolute disaster. So just some conversation. It's interesting. We're opening up with not exactly the bangers, but we run down the whole card.
I'm curious. What makes you say that you think Cease will struggle?
I just think that ultimately funky environment, early time, out of division, center of the country. And again, going back to the stadium where he pitched for the White Sox, where it was not a good project, basically. And like you think about like a human energy standpoint, he leveled up with San Diego. He's leveling up further now with the Blue Jays who went to the World Series last year. You get out of multiple businesses or relationships, you go back to the first one, which was your worst one. You don't exactly like channel the big vibe. You kind of fall flat a little bit. So just a little psychological angle there. We'll call Dylan and ask him, and we'll see. But what he does on the field will answer our question. So we will see. 2:00 in Chicago. Turn your TVs on. Let's see what's going on here. Next game on the card, 2:00, or excuse me, where is this game here? 4:00, excuse me. 4:00 in Texas. Reds, Rangers home opener here. Interleague Baseball, Brady Singer at Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore making his first home start for Texas. Speaking of leveling up, this is the story with Mackenzie Gore. I'm happy to see him on Texas, if I'm being honest. Watching him pitch for the Nationals last year was painful. The guy is so talented. He's a high-level competitor. He would get no run support, and you could just see it draining the energy from him on the mound. I was watching games midsummer, and they would zoom into him on the mound. He's wiping sweat. You could just see he was just exhausted, not from the summer heat, but just from no upside with that team. So I think he's going to pitch great here this afternoon. Brady Singer, a little inconsistent, obviously did pitch against Texas when he pitched for Kansas City. Mike, any thoughts?
Would you believe that one of the best teams, in fact, not one of, it's the best team in baseball at this price range are the Texas Rangers in recent form? I kind of found that a little hard to believe because I don't know. I guess I was watching some of these Texas Ranger games and thinking to myself, boy, these guys just leave me, a little to be desired. But at this point, again, fire up the old -1 calculator because you got two things going on here. One, you got a Cincinnati Reds team that's been super struggling to win. Super struggling to hit the ball, as a matter of fact, out there. Caught a lucky Reds win here, but at the same time, you got to put that bat on the ball, and I don't know if you're going to do that here. Like you said, with the Mackenzie Gore spot, I'm excited to see this guy playing for Texas. As much as I'm not a big Texas fan, Texas Rangers 8-0 to the under. They're at home. They were a road dog in their previous spot. It couldn't be any more simple. Couple that under with Max Gore coming in there, and look. Mackenzie Gore, buttoning up the hatches. Really doesn't have anybody in the lineup to fear. Maybe De La Cruz. De La Cruz saw him 4 times, hit him twice, and drove a run in. Okay. Wow. That being said, -1, great spot. It is the home team, so we want to stay away from that run line to some degree. But I like this Texas Ranger spot here. I'll pull up the numbers and see if I can find what that home trend looked like because they are just dynamic in this spot, and I don't want to get in front of it. Not for a team that can't hit the ball.
Yeah, I think the inflation of the line is purely just the valuation of books of Mackenzie Gore. This guy's an ace, if we're being honest, and Singer has been wildly inconsistent on the road. So this kind of reminds me of what we just said about the Yankees game and the Tigers game. You're in this 175 to 180 range. The books do think Texas will win this game. They're just making you pay for it. Right. And that's really the bottom line here. So I think Texas wins. As you said, Texas does perform efficiently in this numerical range. Of course, you have to remember this is a World Series team from just a couple years ago. So it's a high-quality roster. I would lean towards Texas. Don't really love the game. Better games are coming, gentlemen. Believe that. Next game on the card, 4:10 in Cleveland. Guardians home opener. Our guy, what's his name? Is Nizzle over there probably crushing some – Icky, fucking having some beers, chilling right now, glass of vodka, going over to the stadium. Big game this afternoon, home opener. High upside team, Cubs coming in here. Cade Horton on the mound against Joey Cantillo. I'll give you guys a free play in this one. Take the Guardians at -100. This is a great spot for the Guardians. Good home team. Cubs, little pedestrian here. Cade Horton only season 2. Last year did perform much better at home. Did win the opener at home, not coincidentally, 10-2 against Washington. I'm unimpressed. We're going to get into this conversational point as we go into the next cluster of games here. One of the best angles on today's card, in my opinion, start two pitchers. Which pitchers had a win in the opener against a lackluster opponent, which should go the other direction? Which guys lost the opener against a great opponent where you want to buy? This is where you want to sell Horton. If you go through some of his starts last year on the road, particularly in this division, his first road start last year at the American League, it was at Detroit. Took a loss 4-0 as a small dog, 7 hits in 5 innings, 4 earned runs. And this guy, Joey Cantillo, left-handed pitcher, 26 years old, from Hawaii, actually, interestingly enough. Very notable home-to-road splits all last year. Became a full-time starter in mid-July, was an opener and a bullpen guy for most of the early portion of the season. But since August 15th, minimal earned runs at home. I'm looking now, only 4 earned runs at home, including a postseason appearance since August 15th last year. It's psychology. He likes playing at home. He likes Cleveland. Interestingly enough, coming from Hawaii, I don't see a discernible connection. But I think the line speaks to it. You want to buy Cantillo at home, sell Horton on the road. Take the Guardians, and let's cash. Mike, any thoughts?
Tricky spot, man. Here we go. I'll tell you, I told you guys about the game in the first of the season and the home teams. I like that strategy with a dog. So I could see that. I just can't see this Cleveland Guardians team finding a way to get on top of it here. I mean, yeah, the numbers say they should. I mean, you look at it overall, fade the Cubs on the road in the first game of a series. You've been successful over the last year doing that. You're 16-6. They had a tough schedule. You know, these boys, they did. And you start the season off against the team that you match up comparably with in Seattle. You struggle against the squad in LA Dodgers. Problem for me with this team and this lineup right now is they haven't gotten their, and it's early, so I'm not judging them for it. I'm just reevaluating it and looking at it at the macro aggregate level. You win when you lose one. You win when you lose one. You win when you lose one. Well, you just won one. So what does that mean? You fade the Guardians against the NL Central. You're 12-1 at that number. I'm going to take a shot with the Cubs in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we can we'll tabulate this card. I think we're having a little disagreement on these interleague games, and that's okay. I like Cleveland. Mike likes the Cubs. We will see. Our guy in the chat says 4-3 Cleveland. Greg Gibson's been on it so far this year. Yeah, Greg, I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. Let's cash, bro. Next game on the card, going to Colorado, 4-10 Phillies Rockies. That is, yeah, Phillies Rockies. Or no, excuse me, Mike. You had the right one. I had the wrong one. Rays Twins. Next game on the card. Twins home opener this afternoon in Minnesota. Twins Rays, game 1 of this series. Joe Boyle at Bailey Ober. Giving you guys a free play in this one. Take the under in this game. This is going to be a pitcher's duel. Both pitchers could play in the NBA. Joe Boyle, 6'8". Bailey Ober, 6'9". I was capping this. I was like, wow, 2 NBA players out here throwing the ball this afternoon. Both going to pitch well in this environment. Joe Boyle here, second road start of the year. Took a loss at St. Louis on Saturday afternoon, not because he pitched poorly, however. 6 innings pitched, only 3 hits, no walks, 2 earned runs. Go back to last year, Boyle did struggle on the road, most notably in the division, however. He did pitch a game against Minnesota last year, pitched very well. 5 innings pitched, only 2 hits against, 0 earned runs. So I think the batter versus pitcher matchup is very good here for Boyle, and I think he's a high upside guy. Struggling last year, but this prototype really is projected to be ace quality. Ober is the same conversation. Very polarized road to home. Did not pitch well in his first start of the year at Baltimore on Sunday afternoon. 8-6 loss, 3 earned runs in 4 innings. He labored extensively. Great pattern here. Last year, Ober started on the road as well, outside of the division, on a Sunday afternoon at St. Louis. High-scoring loss, 9-2. Didn't make it past the 3rd inning, giving up 8 earned runs. He came home opener last year against Houston, 6-1 Twins win. He was effective, and the game went under. This total is low for a reason. Not only that, look at the numbers we have on the board here. When you have a 6.75 ERA and another guy with a 3, and all of a sudden the line's only 7.5, It's everything I just told you guys. It's going to be a pitcher's duel. Take the under and let's cash. Mike, do you have a side in this game or anything on the total?
Well, listen, a little deductive reasoning here. I told you guys, or deductive logic, right? I told you that I think that early in the season, I said I think that the Blue Jays are gonna struggle, right? They probably were the benefit of just the AL East being in a down spot. Then I told you guys that I think just a few minutes ago that the Boston Red Sox are frauds. So when they go out of division, I told you that the AL East beats the shit out of teams, right? Fact. So where does that put us? Well, that puts us in a position where I got to back the Tampa Bay Rays team because somebody's going to win that AL East here. And yeah, Yankees have a nice looking spot for themselves here, but one of the least profitable teams in baseball in the last year, the Minnesota Twins. If you're playing the Twins and you fade them going back to September 1st, you're 111-80. You're up 31 units in those 191 game sample. That is a bad team. I think Uber is an over. I think he has a tough time controlling the ball, managing his spin rates and all those other things that we talk about. I don't like the 7.5. I see 88% of the bets, 87% of the cash are on it, but man, give me the Rays. 57% of the bets, 76% of the cash on this Rays team. It went from plus 101 to minus 104. This is a Tampa Bay spot. Not to mention, oh, by the way, how about rest advantage? Minnesota Twins had to finish out a series against Kansas City and then take a travel spot out there. So all those factors out there, Uber's showing us what he's doing already. You see the newly added line, innings pitched, he went 4, earned run average, he got busted up. So if that was a fight, they would have called it. And I'm going to call it for Tampa Bay in this game. Give me some Boyle. Let's go.
Yeah, I could definitely see Boyle winning this game. I do think low. I think 3-2, 4-3, somewhere in that range. Under and the Rays and going to the next game. Next game on the card, I tried to intro it before. I don't even know why. This game is not particularly exciting. Phillies, Rockies, Colorado home opener this afternoon. Mountain time, that is 2:10, 4:10 Eastern. Aaron Nola at Michael Lorenzen. Michael Lorenzen just pitched in the World Baseball Classic for Italy. Not entirely sure why. The guy is pretty much throwing batting practice every time he takes the mound. Now the Rockies signed this guy. It's like they want to give up 100 more home runs this year. Nola in this environment also, I don't think, projected to succeed as well. Susceptible to the cluster inning, the chunk inning for the opponent, and the home run ball. Mike, this is April baseball in Colorado. It's altitude. I think this has got to be an over, right?
Yeah, your point about Lorenzen and what they're doing out there. I mean, the guy doesn't really do much well at all. I thought he was going to be bagging the groceries at the end of last season, but he got a second lease on life with some late movement out there. Now he's going to go pitch in Coors, probably because, well, nobody else would answer the phone. If your phone was on, you're probably pitching in Coors today. But no, man, listen, Phillies, one of the best teams in baseball, despite some of their early woes out there, taking a couple of dips and so on. We've seen Colorado. Look, they surprised Toronto, but I told you Toronto was in trouble this year. So isolate that, throw it over in the corner, put it in a box, throw a lock on that box, and let's focus on Philly in a bounce back spot here. Great scenario. Road team, tons of runs, experienced lineup. On the road, they're getting that 9th inning, so why wouldn't they cover the run line here? It's probably it's probably a 2.5, 3.5, take a little bit of a ladder spot, but look, minus 1.5s are minus 130s right now. You got them opened up at minus 193, 88% of the bets and 86% of the cash. To your point, Chuck, the line moved from 9.5 to 10.5. You got 78% of the bets, 84% of the cash on the over. Yeah, the money's pouring in on this thing here. Tough day for Lorenzen. I think Nola has himself a little bounce back, get right spot. I think the Phillies get right here. I like the minus 1.5, and I lean to the ladder.
Yeah, I could see the Phillies covering this game, even if Nola pitches terribly. The Phillies can win this game 10-7. Because I don't think Nola's going to pitch well at all, if I'm being honest. If you go through last year, this guy's really bipolar. He's very good at home. He's not good on the road. He's also not good on the road in matinees, particularly in funky environments. Since August last year, when he came off the injured list, he actually was away. He was injured for 3 months last year, dating back to late May. But he came back at Washington. It was a matinee. It was a Sunday afternoon. He was utterly terrible. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. His next road start Wednesday, I think also a matinee on a Wednesday at Milwaukee, out of the division, early time, 6 earned runs in only 5 innings. And his last start of the year last year on the road before the playoffs was a road game at the NL West at Arizona on a Saturday, I believe also an early time potentially, 5 1/3. 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 earned runs. And
Yeah.
I used to live in the Philly area. I used to talk to Philly fans, sharp guys too. And they would always tell me Nola is very heady. He's very inconsistent. And if he gets in a weird spot, he's not going to perform. He's had all-star capabilities in his career. He's won championships. He's been, a guy, but doesn't matter. This is not his spot this afternoon. I honestly see Philadelphia winning this game. Again, they could absolutely cover the run line, but Nola could be terrible. I see a high-scoring game. I don't disagree. Philly wins. Over is the best look. Let's cash. Next game on the card. Big game here, 4:12 p.m. in Pittsburgh. Baltimore at Pirates, opening up their home campaign. Pittsburgh, big upside this year, 4:12 p.m. What does that mean? 412 area code. I saw it last year. I wonder what the hell it was. They're running it back. And what are they running back? Mitch Keller in the home opener against an American League opponent. Last year, Keller opened up on a Friday afternoon at 4:12, and he couldn't pitch. And I see more of the same this afternoon. I think he's going to struggle. I think the Orioles lineup will be all over him early. It is a funky start time for a team that never plays matinees on a Friday late afternoon. Mike, we disagree on this game. I have the Orioles. Give me something on the Pirates.
Yeah, I got to go Pirates in this spot here. I look at this I guess Bradish. I'm not a big fan of Bradish, but when you start looking at Mitch Keller and starting to see some of the numbers from this guy, I just don't see where he had 6 shutout innings, 3 strikeouts, Mets on Saturday, 3 2/3, 1 run against the Red Sox. Did have a little leaky spot out there against the Astros in some spring training, but I think he can find a way against this Baltimore team that I'm not in love with Baltimore this year. Again, I think the public fucking beat the piss out of him for 2 years. And now we're left with a team that's just, overvalued, overvalued on top of that here. How about this? The Pirates, they roll themselves nice little 12-0 if you make them a dog of less than 141. In other words, they're not supposed to get totally whacked if they scored more than 5 runs the previous game. So I got a double dipper. Not only am I going Pirates, boys, but I'm going to go and I'm going to give you an under in this spot too. We got a little bit of a intersecting zero situation. And the intersecting zeros, if you think about this Pirates team kind of historically, maybe not in current form, but what do we get ourselves in? Well, we get ourselves into a spot where they overperformed and now the books overreact. And those are the spots that we got to try to isolate in the marketplace and beat them like they owe us fucking money. 16-0, the Pirates to the under. They play in a team that averages more than 7.5 hits. They scored more than 4 runs and had more hits than their opponents. That's not the DNA of the Pirates. And they're averaging 5.4 runs that following game. They're 11-0 to the under. They record less than 11 strikeouts, left more than 4 runners on base. In other words, those bats that aren't the DNA of the Pirates were hot, and they're averaging 4.9 runs a spot after that. And then for the intersection, let's bring Bradish into the equation. 11-0 to the under. He plays a team that recorded more than 4 strikeouts. They won the game last time out. He's averaging 5.2 runs a clip. So this, despite the fact that I dismissed the DNA of these Pittsburgh Pirates, this ain't your daddy's Pirates, though. They can go out there and string together some wins. So I'm going to take this Pirates, and I'm going to take this under. And I'm going to parlay the two together as well. Fuck it. I'm here.
Yeah, we disagree on this game. We don't usually disagree. I have a couple points. Nicholas Handy says, look at Keller at home last year, thumbs down. And I'm going to go that direction. When you look at this, first of all, I did back Pittsburgh in the previous 2 games at Cincinnati, including run line spots, and they covered. So I am by no means against Pittsburgh. In fact, I just ordered a beautiful throwback wool Pittsburgh Pirates hat, which will debut on this show.
All right.
Maybe even Monday. I love this Pirates group. So there is absolutely no bias from me here. But just objectively looking at what Keller did last year, 1-6 straight up home last year against the American League, which is very interesting. He had that many interleague home starts last year. That's uncommon. So we have a lot of data here. The American League hits this guy at this park, PNC Park, 0-2 versus the AL East. I told you guys last year, I mean, talk about a pattern, really. Mike and I were talking about this before the show, and he was saying, like, how can you figure it out and this and that? You know, like, to bring it to regular life, like, this is such a unique spot. It's Friday afternoon, April 3rd. That was Friday afternoon, April 4th last year. against American League opponent as an underdog against Max Fried, 9-4 Yankees. For me, this is like such a one-off. It's like we can talk about all sorts of stuff. It's like, Mike, how do you perform the first day at the bar every year when you go on your Cancun trip? It's a one-off. It's unique. You're never in Cancun. You do the same thing every time. And that's how specific this is for Keller. I think he's going to get rocked this afternoon. And final point on this. Last year, Bradish came back from an injury late season. He didn't pitch until August. Maybe coincidentally, but certainly helpful for this handicap, he did face Pittsburgh last year at home on September 9th. 7 innings pitched, only 4 hits, 1 earned run. And of course, Pittsburgh has a better lineup this year. Got Brandon Lau from the Rays, Marcelo Zuna, others. I think Bradish will be effective in this spot. I think Keller gets rocked. Take the Orioles and let's cash. Mike says, take the Pirates and let's cash. We will see. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. It's the first Friday of April. Little competition, never hurt anybody. Our guy in the chat, Robert, says O's first 5, -0.5. I wouldn't disagree. Greg says the books haven't caught up yet with the Pirates. And again, just one final point on this before we move to the night card. There's 162 games. So I can authoritatively with my take fade them today and then tomorrow buy them with authority. It's so much zigzag day to day. There's absolutely no bias in these handicaps. And that is that. Next game on the card, we're going evening baseball. We got 5 games tonight. Friday night in Kansas City, Brewers' first road game of the season at the Royals. Chad Patrick, we have a pitching change, it looks like. Michael Wacha was supposed to pitch. Now we're looking at, I think, Luinder Avila from Venezuela. Okay, that changes everything. I had originally handicapped this game for Michael Wacha.
Yeah.
Now I am not data abundant in this pitching situation. Mike, did you have anything in this game?
Yeah, originally I was leaning to the over in this game. I looked at Avila, certainly fun name to say, I guess, out there. But, they optioned this guy in. I was just looking at some of his numbers, just kind of like one of those guys where, looked well for Team Venezuela. They said, you know what, we like what we saw. And look, he was a 2.25 ERA, 1.75 whip, 4 strikeout to 2 walk ratio in the Cactus League. Small situation to evaluate with that out there. But look, what are you going to do? I would lean to the over in this case here, strictly because of the fact that you've got, the Brewers have been putting, bat to ball. Kansas City, despite what happened yesterday, no travel situation for them boys. They are 12-0 to the over in series openers. If they're playing a team that averaged more than 4 runs, I kind of like the over, but I can't honestly in good conscience say one way or the other with this game, just given that late pitching change out there. But look for Avila. I mean, look, I was high on these guys to come out of, World Series, World Classic baseball. They come in with a different pep in their step, and he did enough to get himself out of the Cactus League and brought to the bigs. But I can't trust Kansas City either right now, Shark. I mean, we saw yesterday, they just rolled a pure dud. So get me out of this game.
Yeah, I actually was leaning towards Kansas City if Wacha was pitching.
Yeah,
Wacha is a good buy in this spot, but this is clearly not Wacha on a Friday night. If anything, I agree with our chat right now, over in this game. I think the pitching situation for KC is not going to be good tonight. I think you're going to see a lot of runs. And not only that, part of my handicap, which is now voided, for those of you guys who got the VIP, I had Kansas City on that. It's pitcher specific. That's voided. We're not going to be back in Kansas City anymore. The over is going to be the best look. Chad Patrick is a fade in this spot. Second start of the year, first road start. Didn't look particularly good in his only start of the year at home against the White Sox. 6-1 win. Deceptive final score. He was not dominant in the game. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 home run against for 1 earned run, but high pitch count, really labored. And if you look at how he pitched last year on the road, Chad Patrick was really a poor road pitcher at the American League last year. I think both teams are going to struggle to contain the opposing lineup tonight. Again, we wanted to buy Michael Wacha. The bet is voided, but I think the over is the best look in this game. Keeping it moving, we're going late night baseball. We got 4 games on the West Coast tonight. Angels hosting Mariners, opening up this series in the division. Angels' first home game, Mariners' first road game. Reed Detmers against Brian Wu. Brian Wu, very, very effective. Reed Detmers kind of bouncing around, not in terms of teams, but just in terms of the situations the Angels put him in. Starter, reliever, all over the place. Truthfully, this game is going to be a difficult handicap. The Angels have been scrappy so far. I could see the Angels covering +1.5. Tough game, though. Mike, any thoughts?
I could see a start for a little bit of a pitching battle here. I kind of lean to that first 5 under. Just because I think Brian goes out there and does what he does. He's not afraid to go mow teams down. Look, ERA sitting around a 3, but his whip, his walks and hits per inning. I mean, he's sub 1. Those are the ratios you want to look at. He's got a 35% strikeout to walk situation out there. And I'm not big on the Angels this year. I think they traded off some of their pieces early. Way too early here. You can't just go automatically become sellers. What do they think? They're in a good position. So the Mariners have shown a propensity to dominate the AL West. They've cashed 9 straight times against AL West opponents out there. And they're the better team. I think this is a playoff team. I think they run it back to the playoffs. I think they have the pitching advantage, but I think this starts out slow. I think out low and slow. I mean, I don't mind the total on the 8 being an under in this case either, but for me, I catch the first 5. I'll take the 3. I'll take the 4. I see a 4 at -105. I did put the run line calculator in the description for the show. You'll find it there going forward. So if you can't get a 4, you can blend a 4.5 and a 3.5 to equate to a 4. Don't be lazy. These things matter. These are the difference between pushes and losses. And so the 4 at -105 seems like a good spot, but I think Seattle wins this game. Free bet. I take Seattle. I'd play the first 5. I like Seattle here with the run line, but I'll take the first 5 under 4.
Yeah, again, I think this fits into the conversation we opened the show with these early games. This one being hours later, but it's the same thing. It's just an overpriced 1-run projection. You're paying 170 to win 1, and if it loses, you end up losing 1.7. So these are the spots we try to stay away from. And even the +1.5 is juiced at like 140. So what they're telling you on both sides of this is they're just waiting the 1 run. If you want to win, you got to pay for it. If you want +1.5, you got to pay for it. The projection is a 1-run Mariners win. Tough game, overpriced. Let's move on. Next game on the card, game 2 tonight in Arizona, Braves, Diamondbacks. We tried to give you the Diamondbacks last night. Did not go our way. 17-2 Braves. Thank you, but no thanks. That was an absolute disaster. Tonight, I'm going back to the well. I think Arizona, or not going back to the well of yesterday, I'm going back to what happened yesterday. I think the Braves will win this game. Giving you guys Atlanta officially. Really good, interesting conversation here. Last year, Grant Holmes pitched in this stadium. Atlanta did win the game 8-7. He did not look particularly good in this start. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 3 home runs against. So you'd say to yourself, Grant Holmes is not going to pitch very well in this stadium. Eugenio, I'm trying to pronounce this guy's name. Eugenio, whatever the hell it is. Suarez hit all 3 home runs. That was the game Suarez hit 4 home runs last year. Suarez is now on the Reds. He's not on the Diamondbacks. So the problem has been removed, Grant. You're good. And if he was able to still pull out a win for the Braves last year with Suarez hitting 4 home runs, what do you think he's going to do now? He's been a good road pitcher. He's the high upside pitcher. And Eddie Rodriguez is coming off a great road start at the Dodgers. Patterns. Eddie Rodriguez aced the Dodgers last year on the road as well. He likes pitching against the Dodgers. He likes pitching in LA on the road. He does not pitch very well at this stadium outside of division. I have Arizona to lose this game. I have Atlanta to win. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought originally the way you made that sound, you were going to go with Arizona when you said you were going. No, I was confused there. I was like, man, what the hell's he doing out here? This is an absolute beat down, knockout, drag down. Now, listen, look for this thing to be in. I don't even know how far Rodriguez goes here. I know I talked a little bit about Atlanta the other day, and we're still formulating our opinions. Not going to wait to find a team that's on a hot streak to tell you they're good, right? But I'm going to try to use some insight. There's a lot of guys out there that'll do that, though, Shark. Like, oh, the team's won 10 in a row. They'll be like, let me tell you how good this team is. Thanks, buddy. I saw it. I read that they just won 10 in a row. That being said, though, batter-wise, you know what the Atlanta bats like the most, Shark? I don't know about the most. They like lefties, my dude. They hit up 3. Everybody's hitting over 300 against lefties. That's a bad spot for a Rodriguez situation. The Braves have been proficient in game 2s of series. Why? think they do a pretty good job developing from within. Like they're not just like over the top. You don't really see them make like aggressive moves in the off season. They sometimes when they're really making the run, they'll go for it, but they are a pretty consistently stacked team. And so game 2 of a series is why I bring that up. They're 80-31 in game 2s. Now, early in the season, the hot bats stay hot. When they've clubbed the team down, they've scored more runs than the opponent. I mean, we're talking more than 8 runs. So it's not just a one-off like, oh, we won the game 4-1. 8 or more runs, and they're coming back as the favorite. They've won 10 straight times, 20-3 are those teams. So I'm going to take the Atlanta Braves. This is a really great price tag too, I think, for this Atlanta Braves team. So that sounds like a collab play for our parlay.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the line. The line means something here. Actually, that game I referenced last year where Holmes did get the win, albeit struggle in this stadium, he was actually a dog to Merrill Kelly. The Diamondbacks were minus 125. That was last year, April 26th. So in terms of the line functionality here, and of course that accounts for the pitcher change and all this 100%, but the books actually like Atlanta more here, year 2 with Holmes, and it is the Eddie Rodriguez situation. I completely agree. Take Atlanta and let's cash. Next game on the card, divisional baseball, Athletics opening up their home calendar tonight in Sacramento. I was just talking about the Sacramento Kings having a home game tonight against the Pelicans, and I said there's no other professional sports in Sacramento. I forgot the Athletics are playing removed from Oakland going to Vegas next year, hanging out in Sacramento this year. Home opener, they've underperformed in this stadium. This is a difficult game. Spring's good numbers. Last year struggled here, very inconsistent. Christian Javier inflated, will pitch better. I think the Astros probably get the win. Mike, any thoughts?
Yeah, we're going to go right back to the over in the stadium. I know it's a little cheesy, 10.5 have moved to 9.5, 68% of the bets, 59% of the cash. Suspiciously low number for this Astros. Minus 104 have moved to minus 108. 75% of the bets and 76% of the cash are coming in. We just saw them thump around them Red Sox, but I just told you how suspect the Red Sox are this season. So I don't have anything official on this play. It's a later night game. I got to wait and see how the lineup develops. I got to wait and see how the line develops, more importantly, but heavy lean to the over in this thing here. Park factors to me. This was one of the big spring parks that did go over the numbers. So I do have to look at that year over year and say, listen, I think that we got ourselves some runs in this game. Nothing I'm going to the window with just yet.
Yeah, tough game. I mean, just let the line tell you the story. Both teams are currently laying right around minus 110. It's kind of a pick 'em. Obviously, I can guarantee you there's contrarian bettors out there telling you the story. Why are the Astros only laying 110 to a 1-5 team? It's 162. Don't be fooled by it. Sometimes these short favorites will win. We like dogs. We like contrarian intelligence, but sometimes it's just not that. Springs has not performed great in this stadium. Tough game, and let's keep it moving. Final game on the card, 10:15 p.m., Oracle Park, Game 2, Mets-Giants. Giants with a beatdown last night of David Peterson early and often. Yeah, I mean, we said yesterday David Peterson's very unpredictable. You got the bad version last night. This is going to be a different story. I'm going to give you guys this one for free. Take the Mets at minus 130. You want to buy Nolan McLean here, and it goes back to something I said earlier in the show. You want to buy pitchers off losses in the first game where they performed well, expecting an improvement. Go back to McLean's only start. It was Sunday afternoon, home game against Pittsburgh, 4-3 loss in extras, 10 innings. He pitched well, 5 innings of only 4 hits, 8 Ks. So he was fairly dominant. The Mets just could do absolutely nothing with the bats. Even in the final box score, the Mets lost by 1 run, but they had 9 hits to Pittsburgh only having 7. And you look at McLean last year, came up mid-season, now in the number 2 hole for the Mets. This guy's filthy. And I think even more notably, 2-0 last year outside of the division as a favorite, precisely in this line range. Starts in September at Detroit. Mets were favored minus 130. 12-5 win, and Thursday 9-5 at the Cubs. Only start outside of the division at a National League opponent at Shota Imanaga, so a high upside pitcher. He was laying minus 120. It was a notable line for a young pitcher. Mets 8-5. And another thing I was saying to Mike is it seems like the Mets turn up their bats for this guy, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've listened to podcasts for years about baseball, and lineups actually do talk about this stuff. if they like a guy, and it's that simple. If they like a guy as a person in the clubhouse, they'll say, "Oh, it's McClain Day. Let's get it. Let's go." And if the pitcher's sort of introverted, doesn't connect with the group, they're not as fired up. I think there's something real about that. I think this lineup likes when he takes the bump. They turn up. I think it's a bounce back. I think he'll pitch well. I love the line functionality here. I see the Mets with some margin. And final point on this, Male here, second start with the Giants, took a loss against the Yankees in his first start. So you get back-to-back home starts out of the division against the New York teams. He was graded in the exact same line range. Will Warren, we were talking about him before, laid minus 120 at Male, won by 2 runs. Same exact grading. Mets bounce back, line functionality, all of it. Take the Mets and let's cash. Mike, we were joking before. Seems like the entire card's about to go off right now, 1:10 p.m. It's going to be done by 7. How the hell are we going to bet this at 10:15 p.m.? What do you think?
We're going to go dogging. We're going to go in and take a little bit of this San Francisco Giants team here. We saw who the Mets are yesterday. That's it. That's the end of it. I told you guys, these guys put up 11 runs in an oddity, and they can't consistently hit the ball. So despite that tough break that we saw, Molly have last game against them Yankees, look, what was the final score of that game? Well, it wasn't like he went out there and puked. He let up a couple of runs. It was a low-scoring game. We talked about the San Francisco Giants being a slow starter. This is a good price tag. I'm going to take the San Francisco Giants in this spot. And I'll be fading the Mets a lot this year. So that's a personal preference of mine. So tail or fade, but just be aware that that'll be a consistent play that I'm looking to get involved with. So that's it. I got Shark. What do you got?
Yeah,
115.
57 minutes, 15 games, big card. We appreciate you guys in the chat hanging out. Mike, let's talk best bets.
Let's go, my dude. I was stroking the pen, if you will, when you were talking here earlier, because I like this card, man. I said that yesterday with a 3-game card, but it was like, all right, I just really like some spots. No, I'm going to go with Texas under 8. I like that as a best bet for you guys. I like the Philadelphia Phillies minus 1.5. I think those are 2 really good knockdown dragout spots. And I got a spot as well for the parlay. So go ahead. I got Texas under 8. I got Philly minus 1.5. What say you for some best bets?
All right, let's go with the NOLA over Philadelphia at Colorado.
What's the line you're getting there?
Let me check here what the best line is here. Dodgers Nationals just tipped off first pitch. We are in. It is Friday afternoon. Enjoy the card, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what the line is here currently for that one.
Love the leading show, man. I think it's such a great time slot to get us out here and get everybody fun. You know what? We get afternoon baseball. You're going to get afternoon plays. You get evening baseball. You can listen back to the replay and hear it again. But I think this is a great window for us.
Oh, absolutely. Over 10 FanDuel, over 10 Caesars, over 10 BetMGM.
Okay.
And let's go with the over in the Brewers-Royals game with that pitching change and Chad Patrick on the road here. That's over 9. All books have over 9. Slightly juiced. Best price is minus 115.
Sweet. All right. Parlay time, my friend. I got the, well, you know what? Real quick. Let me give you guys my player prop. I promise you guys a prop by the show out there. I did cash a live bet with our winnable club here just a few minutes ago. Carabelli at plus 317 in some men's tennis. Good job if you tailed. Tyler O'Neill, 1+ hit. Dansby Swanson, 1+ hit. That is a plus 155. Tyler O'Neill, 1+ hit. Dansby Swanson, 1+ hit, plus 155. Check my first leg of the parlay B, Texas Rangers. We've got it. Sounds like Atlanta is our collab play. Bring us home.
All right, let's find one more here. Let's go with the over at Course.
There we go. That's the way it's done, boys and girls. I'll put a recap out there when I get the timestamps in there, and I'll put the price tag for us for tracking purposes that I locked this parlay in for, Shark. My man. Big card today. We got it done. Hour on the dot, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a fast 60. We appreciate you guys. As I said, the first pitch just went down in Washington. Next game coming up shortly. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for an hour. For those of you guys who hang out with us during the show, it is a high-energy hour. We'll be 50 minutes on average, but we got a little longer today. But nonetheless, please manage your bankroll. As we saw yesterday, sometimes good handicaps lose 17-2. It happens. If you manage your bankroll, you will be here long-term through the ebbs and the flows, and the highs are higher than the lows at all points in time. Bunch of free plays. It is an opportunity to dominate. That is MLB Bases Loaded on this Friday, April the 3rd, 2026. For Mike, I am the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay